But the question then comes back to, we got to bring it around, do we want to do flipping for the rest of our lives? Okay, and I know for those of you who are working your day job right now, you're thinking, hell's to the yeah.
For sure.
Like, I can't imagine anything else I would love doing. And I would tell you, if you got to Donnie Corum probably back in 2019, 2020, he might have agreed with you. I might have sat down and go, hell yeah, man, I can't see myself doing anything else for the rest of my existence. I love this.
Mm-hmm.
But I got news for you. Real estate flipping, actually real estate of all types, is fundamentally designed to be a funding source, provide for your actual passion.
Check, 1 2 1 2.
Turn it up, turn it up.
Welcome to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast.
The tides are turning, the time is now.
Your home for the mindset, methodology, and tools needed to invest in foreclosures.
Don't you dare buy a house, buy a deal. You need to get into this right now.
Right now, yeah.
And now your host, the Foreclosure Deals Coach, Donnie Corum.
Hello, and welcome back to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast. I am your host and Foreclosure Deals Coach, Donnie Corum, recording live from our downtown studios with none other than my executive producer and all-around badass, Mr. Jonathan Winston.
What is up, my lovely deal hunters? What is up, everybody? Another wonderful day in the life of real estate professionals, man. Let's see what we can do.
Love it, brother. Love it. Well, listen, the title of today's show is Flip Forever. And we're talking about...
Forever?
Flip forever and ever.
Forever, ever?
And ever.
Okay.
All right, that was a nice flashback. I like that. So the article, we always open an article. And first of all, thank you guys for tuning in. We're pushing, 2 years? What are we, 2 years, 2.5 years of this
about
show?
2.5 years going hard for you all.
Man, it's crazy how long this show's been going on. A lot of big changes coming up. I know we talk about that all the time, but, I think one of my issues has always been with the gurus out there, the foreclosure, investor coaches out there, the Van Merrills, not knocking them, but they're not really giving you enough education to do something with that education. So I've always set my eyes on providing enough to get you empowered out there to become a successful real estate investor. Now, the thing about that is a lot of mindset that goes into that, okay? We talk about the mindset, the methodology, and tools to be a successful foreclosure or successful real estate investor. We use the Foreclosure Deals Coach thing as a pull to get people identify foreclosures as deals.
Right,
et cetera. But really, this is a real estate investing show. There are a bunch of them. So what sets us apart? Okay, it's the mindset piece. We really try to spend some time because in my experience, a lot of people who want to do real estate investing are typically their own worst enemy. Right? They think things, they believe things that are generally just not accurate. Right? So we're trying to overcome that. How do we get through the mindset pieces? People tell me they listen to the show. It's like, Donnie, you completely changed my attitude about this or that. Obviously, I can give you a real estate investing education, but I think where a lot of people fall short is you can get all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't have the mindset to take action,
it's just going to be sitting there. You're going to be a Ferrari in the garage, man, not doing anything.
Damn right. The keys aren't in the ignition. The car won't start.
Yep.
Right? So that's what we're trying to overcome. Your brain is what's in the way right now. I assure you, no matter where you're at in your real estate investing journey, your mindset is what's preventing you from going to the next level, wherever that level happens to be at this moment. Okay, so let's get to the article. Denver sets new record home price amidst surge in bidding wars. See, now we thought that the surge in pricing was over. We thought things were calming down. We actually made more money in the COVID crisis. But then things started to kind of waver a little bit. It was like, well, that was fun for a while.
Right.
Looks like things are going to settle down. Okay?
Reality, here it comes.
Reality's back. That was about the last 90 days. Okay, we kind of got back to that reality pricing basis. And then this article comes out proving that this is far from over. Okay, New record home price in Denver for an average home is now $740,000.
That doesn't sound that average as far as price.
I don't think so. That's $750,000 right now. Inventory is still low, and prices, even though interest rates have started to creep up, are still going up. Okay, now we do this at every show, how much money you can make in real estate investing, but a lot of people tune into the show because they want to flip to produce their income. So the question has to become, Do you want to flip forever?
That sounds, I don't know, it could be lucrative going for forever, right?
I mean, seriously, do you want to do this for the rest of your life? If you're making, let's just imagine a flipping operation that's flipping $25,000 back-end profits, and there are people who are going to tell you they only do flips at $50,000 back-end profits.
Hear a lot of those.
Right, 75,000, 100,000, right? You've met those guys. But let's say you have a consistent flipping business that does 25,000. And you're targeting 4 a month, okay? And I share that with you. That's pretty close to how my operation's running right now. To give you just some background, I know we talk about this all the time, but way back in 2020, when we thought this was over, I woke up one morning, New Year's Day, 2020, actually, rolled over and told my wife, hey, I want to do 50 flips this year. She said, honey, go back to bed. You're drunk. Clearly, you've not worn off from last night's festivities, which, by the way, was 100% true. Right?
I mean, you know.
It was a hell of a party.
Excitement of your moment.
I was in the moment, right? So 3 months later, coronavirus hits there in March. Corona had other ideas. We lost pretty much a quarter worth of sales and still managed to do 40 flips in 2020. Then we had our stuff together by 2021. Coronavirus was pretty much wearing off at that point. We did 47 flips in 2021, and we're on track this year to hit at least 60 flips. Okay, and I say at least because we're so far ahead of schedule right now. My ops team is running on point right now. Sales team's killing it. Gabrielle Simmons is killing it out there on the acquisition side. We've got a bunch of stuff going on with the team, just rapid growth right now, okay? But the question then comes back to, we got to bring it around, do we want to do flipping for the rest of our lives? Okay, and I know for those of you who are working your day job right now, you're thinking, hell's to the yeah.
For sure.
Like, I can't imagine anything else I would love doing. And I would tell you, if you got to Donnie Coram probably back in 2019, 2020, he might have agreed with you. I might have sat down and go, hell yeah, man, I can't see myself doing anything else for the rest of my existence. I love this. Mm-hmm. But I got news for you. Real estate flipping, actually real estate of all types, is fundamentally designed to be a funding source, provide for your actual passion. You see, if you're a musician, you need the funding to be a musician. I love music. I play music all the time. Jonathan's a fellow musician. His stuff is fire, by the way. Check him out.
For sure. So at Sir John Winston on all of your streaming and Instagram and social media services. At Sir John Winston, check that out. But the reality is, one thing I couldn't get with getting the musician game was being the poor musician. I ain't feeling the poverty thing, man. I love the art. I love the arts in general, but I could not do poor musician. Laura, my wife, would have divorced me on day 2. It's like, yo, I'm just going to sit in the corner and play some music, babe. Right? I'm already kind of a stoner, so if you do a bunch of weed and then you just play music all the time, you ain't going to get much done. Yeah, that's about it. It's a reality, right? So you have to have a funding source provide for your passion. And my advice to you is not to be passionate about real estate from a flipping angle, but rather passionate about whatever you're passionate about and use flipping as an income source to fund that passion and your life. Does that make sense? I see that. Because right now the flipping business is working. Right? This article proves that prices are still going up. There's still a huge gap where we can buy properties for wholesale versus retail. It's a good time to flip, but I can assure you it will not always be a good time to flip. Now, the good news is I believe it's actually going to get better when prices start to fail. Okay? Why? Because right now you've got this gap that you can expect to buy a wholesale property at, let's just imagine, to keep simple numbers here, okay? The buy price for your typical acquisition in Colorado, and your market may vary, okay? So just you got to transcend this to where you're at. But your buy price on average, say, is $300,000. That about describes where I want to buy a house, somewhere between $300,000 and $350,000, okay? Your sales price in Colorado Springs, our average price is not Denver's crazy $740,000, but it's a slightly less crazy $550,000. Here in the Springs right now, okay? So if you're buying at 3 and you're trying to sell below the median price, the key to flipping, especially in your early stages, is to focus your attention on below median price homes, because that's where the vast majority of your buyers are. Okay, it's fun to do luxury. It's fun to, hey, we put a pool in the backyard and gold-plated faucets and a helicopter landing pad, but wake up. That's a reality TV show. This is actual reality. For sure. Okay? You're here to make money, not get yourself on A&E's Flip This House. Though that's cool too. A&E, if you're listening, call a brother. Just hit me up. I am down to do Springs Flips. You just hit me up. Let's get that conversation going. Okay, right? Let's go. I know who to reach out to. Thank you.
But getting back to that, you're going below median price. You're trying to make money. Now, when the market starts to fade, the wholesale price of homes will fade faster. Why? Because when sellers start to panic sell, because they're watching the retail market fade, they will almost always overreact. So if the retail market goes down 6%, the wholesale market will drop 12 to 15%.
Oh, wow.
Right? So the gap will get wider in a fading market. So I got to be honest with you. As much money as we're making and as much fun as we're having right now with my investors, my partners, I can tell you that the fun has not even really started yet. I think it's going to start. We predict this on every show. I think we got 18 to 24 months before the crisis. But I'll be frank with you. I told you that 6 months ago. I said 18 to 24 months.
Right.
Right? So as usual, I get to come on this show and be dead wrong over and over and over again. But this is the kind of wrong I kind of want to be.
Right. And dead wrong until you're right eventually, right?
See what I'm saying? Like a broken clock. I'm right twice a day.
Come on now.
So you just got to wait it out. You got to write it out. Even a squirrel gets a nut.
Hi, this is Donnie Corum, your foreclosure deals coach. It's important to have good credit when you're buying a foreclosure. A lot of people think you can come in with bad credit, but the fact of the matter is you need pretty stable credit scores to buy a foreclosure deal. So how do you find out how to increase your credit? Well, there's tons of credit repair agencies out there and multiple formulas, but one thing we found that works is reporting your monthly rental payments to the credit bureau. We partnered with rentreporters.com, the leading provider of adding your payment history direct from your landlord onto your credit bureau scores, and it helping people to boost their scores up to 40 points in as little as 30 days. So to get started, I want you to head on out to www.foreclosuredealscoach.com. Now that's a messenger bot, and you're going to use the keyword rent to get more information about Rent Reporters and how you can boost your credit score by getting your rental reported to the credit bureaus. Once again, Donnie Corum, your foreclosure deals coach. Check it out.
I don't know where we're going with that. Anyway, that's the dangerous path. Takeaway here. Do you want to do this for the rest of your life? No. Your objective is to produce enough income to buy passive income properties or passive income businesses, right, that are producing an income when you can no longer want to flip. That's the objective. Okay? Flip forever? Ever? No. That's not the objective, right? The problem is people dream too small. I'm going to do one flip. I'm so excited about one flip that I put all my energy behind that flip without realizing it's like playing pool. It's not just getting that ball into the pocket. It's making sure the cue ball's lined up for your next shot.
All right.
You feel me?
Oh, for sure.
Right? So don't go into this like you're going to flip forever. Plan your next step ahead. Right? My next step ahead, I'm going to flip amount of money. I got to live on X amount of dollars that my flipping operation is providing, and then I got to invest the rest of that capital in buying my next rental property that I turn into an Airbnb. Right? I got to buy a small business, maybe open a small restaurant, whatever your true passion project is. In our case, it's music. Right. So we're working on a live music venue in downtown Colorado Springs right now. Keep your ear out for that. Jamrock Event Center coming at you. Booyakah!
Okay.
I'm not sure where the Booyakah thing came from. I spent a lot of time in Jamaica recently.
Man, he's got some lingering effects, guys.
I'm telling you.
Where did that dread come from? That is...
What go on? No, I had a great time in Jamaica. Another show. We'll get to that. No. Passive income as a result of doing flipping. Okay? And I'll give you a story, because this is about stories. My mentor, the guy that taught me the business, Mr. Michael Jake, he came in flipping houses to fund his advertising campaign fundamentally that got him subject to properties. Ending up at his peak with 115 houses he didn't have mortgages on. It's because somebody else did. Okay? Right. They were producing an income for him, so he got to live off the income at some point and no longer needed to flip. But he said, the problem is I'm bored to tears, right? So I still flip occasionally. He recently picked up a badass Porsche 911 GT3. right? Because he's still flipping every now and then to pay for his toys. But in general, he bought 115 subject to houses. That was literally a decade, maybe 12 years ago. He's putting that portfolio together. Can you imagine what those things have gone up since he took over the payments on them a decade ago?
A decade. Imagine what they've gone up in the last 3 or 4 years.
I don't know the exact numbers. He ain't going to tell me the exact numbers, but I'm telling you that man's worth $10 million because he used flipping to pay for his marketing to get the buy and hold properties. Does that make sense?
Smart man.
So you've got to use flipping as a tool to get whatever other passive income source you can work on. Your objective is not to stay in this game for the rest of your life, but rather play so well that they induct you to the Hall of Fame and you can bounce. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for my induction to the Flipping Hall of Fame, but I'm going to give you all a few more years to try to catch up with me.
I think he just dusted some dirt off his shoulder. What's going on right now?
Right? It's game on, right? But don't look at flipping forever. Forever? No. Get your money and get out of this game. The idea behind flipping is huge amounts of income. The alternative is working a job, and if you're making 6 figures a year, you're bringing in $8,000, $9,000 a month. Seems like a great living, but you're paying your bills. You got about $3,000 left to invest in your businesses. So you get there, but you get there awful slow, right? When you're flipping, if you can do 1 or 2 at a time, and listen, you work your way up to that, okay? Don't get in this mindset, well, I haven't done my first one. The whole idea behind our coaching product, Foreclosure Deals Coach, is to help you get to your very first deal. We're going to hand walk you through that, right? So you can build a system that can get you your second, third, fourth deal, and then over time build a system that has a team that does the majority of the flipping for you. Okay, I've got an operations team. Corey's my rock star senior operations manager taking over for my wife, Laura, who's doing operations for like 3 years. Back when I had that crazy notion that we're going to do 50 flips in a year, the reason why she said you're crazy is because she knew I was just going to buy them. You know, I mean, somebody's got to get these things fixed. And then,
fix them up, man.
I was hand them to her. And over time, she went completely insane. Now, let's be honest. She was crazy prior to that. But like she went more crazy, which is like hard to. I love you, baby. I'm sorry. You know I love you.
That wasn't me, man. I didn't say none of that. I'm just a dude over here.
Hey, I'm just saying, hot crazy index. That's all I got. Like she's hot, so she's nuts. Otherwise, she's a dude. This is the only way to do it. Like if they're hot, they're crazy. That's how it goes. Anyway, off topic. Get out of the game and find a way to get out of the game that's smart. You're producing a massive amount of income instead of doing your job income. Everybody kind of starts at the same place. I'm working a job. The job gives me the income to provide for my family while I'm working on the flipping business. When I'm making enough from the flipping business, I can step out of the job so I can scale the flipping business so it doesn't just support my family, but it supports multiple families underneath it. And as a result, you're now flipping on autopilot. Some of my mentors in this game are doing 400, 500 flips a year. You need to hear that and understand that A, it's possible. B, the question is it something you want to do? Looking at where I'm at, right, I don't know if I want to do that, right? I don't know if I want to scale this thing out to 30 or 40 a month, but I do know if I do it, it would have to be completely hands-off, right? I would have to be the head coach at least, and probably the team owner just sitting up in the box watching the head coach do his thing. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
You need to be in the ownership position before you scale this out because this job, as glamorous as the shows make it seem, is hellacious at times. It has challenged my marriage. It has challenged my nerves. Like I've literally had to get on medication to relieve the stress. I decided I'd go, weed. It works a lot better than the meds they put me on, but not a bad way to go.
Right.
You feel me? The anxieties wear off.
You get hungry every once in a while.
I got that problem, but I figured that out.
Right.
You don't want to do this for life. You want to do this long enough to get it in autopilot so you can pursue other interests. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And because this is a mindset show, I want you to stop and think and listen and really plot out, what do I want my life to look like? I assure you, if it's something on flipping just a bunch of houses, part of the neat thing about joining the coaching program is you get to come here to Colorado Springs, Colorado, while you're in coaching anytime you want. You can come here and sit in on one of our operations meetings, Tuesdays mornings at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, right? come in anytime you want, sit in on that, because you're going to see that it takes a lot of people. That ops meeting generally has 8 to 10 people sitting at the boardroom naming off the properties. I think right now, yesterday's ops meeting, we went over 11 different properties. Where are we at on this? What's happening here? Some of them are under contract, some are under construction, but every one of them has to be talked about. It's a massive operation, okay? And if that's what you want, great. But there's probably a passion of some kind that you've always wanted to do, just never believed you could afford or pay for. Many of you may have heard of the artist. I'm a country guy, so I don't really listen to country, but Big and Rich. Well, I don't know if this is a fable or not, but what I heard is that there were real estate investors who decided they're going to fund their own band. Right, so they used what they were making in real estate to buy stadiums, rent out stadiums, invited their friends for a huge party, sold tickets, and then started being opening acts for Blake Shelton and et cetera, got discovered and blew up. Right, but they could have self-published, and that's Big and Rich, right? It was just a passion project financed by real estate investing. That's what you should be focusing on. What is your passion project and how do you pay for it? You want to go save the whales? Figure out how to pay for that with real estate, right? You got a thing for daycare centers? Figure out how to build your daycare center model with real estate. My current passion project is looking at the Jamaican people. We're going to do a whole show on this, so I don't want to go into detail now. But I went out to Jamaica, and now I'm excited about providing back-end funding, kind of like what we have here at CHAFA. It's a down payment assistance program here in Colorado, where I can do basically the CHAFA equivalent in Jamaica for people who want to buy houses in a market that's been completely kept out of home ownership for the last 20 to 30 years. Okay, that's my passion project. So I'm going to use flipping to leverage my ability to help people own homes in that market, right? And it's a great excuse to go to Jamaica often, right? So we are setting this thing up. Find your passion, know what you want, go after it, but don't flip forever. Find a thing where you can transfer the income out. And that's our show for today. You know, in the end, your objective now is to figure out how far you want to take your flipping operation. If you're ready to go and don't know where to get started, that's where the coaching comes in. All you got to do is reach out to Sir Jonathan Winston, set up a coaching call. We hook up, talk about what your needs are. I meet you where you are. You join the coaching product, and then suddenly you're on your way to pursuing the financial needs that you have to whatever your passion project is. And when we do that coaching call, I'm going to ask you, what are you going to do when you have the money to do whatever it is you want to do? And if you can't answer that, you're probably not a good candidate for the coaching.
Got to have your why.
Got to have your why, right? Because the people who make it in my program are passionate about something outside of real estate.
Yep.
Right? That's a critical part of your success. I'm going to ask you that. If you can't answer that real effectively, you may not be a good coaching student. You got to know where you're going. But if you think you are a good coaching student, you really want to start taking this thing off, I want you to reach out to Jonathan, set up an appointment. Let's get you started down the path of pursuing financial freedom through real estate. With that, this is Donnie Corum, your Foreclosure Deals Coach, thanking you as always for tuning into the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast and reminding you now and always, don't buy a house, buy a deal.
Want more of the Foreclosure Deals Coach? Like our Facebook page, Foreclosure Deals Coach, for the latest in real estate and foreclosure investing. Become a part of our community. Search Foreclosure Deals Coach on Facebook to join today.